in your own channel NCERT e-teaching. I am Dr. Kailash Meena. Today I am going to discuss chapter number 15 of class 8 science, which is friction. So friction is a type of force, and we have learned about forces in the previous chapter. You can refer my video of chapter number 11, which is force, and there we learned about types of forces, contact forces and non-contact forces. So friction is also a type of force which is a contact force. That means that for application of friction, two objects must be in contact with each other. So let's learn about friction. So these are some points which we are going to discuss in this video. Force of friction, factors affecting friction, friction a necessary evil, increasing and reducing friction, wheels reduce friction, and fluid friction. And this is a comparatively small chapter if you compare the chapter number 11, and very interesting and have many day-to-day applications. So what is force of friction? Force of friction is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. The force of friction acts between two objects and the surface. Okay. So when two objects are in contact and both of them or one is moving, then in the opposite direction of movement those objects experience friction. Okay. And you may have realized in your day-to-day life then that the surface of road is rough, so that you can make a better grip. You have rough tires in vehicles, in your shoes and new sandals you will see rough sole, so that you can make a better grip. And if you experience in your life that when your hands are soapy and if you have spilled oil, then it is not easy to make grip. Okay, you can do an activity by using glasses, okay, tumblers in kitchen, that if you have soapy hands then you will have lesser grip. So more grip means more friction, less grip means less friction. So in this diagram you can see clearly that friction will be always in the opposite direction of motion. Okay, motion is in this direction and friction is in this direction. This thing we need to remember. One more thing, when we throw ball or when we ride bicycle, you see, if we do not apply force consistently or continuously, the ball will stop after some time or the cycle will stop after some time, only because of the force of friction. Now we know what is friction. Friction is a force between two objects which are in contact and are in motion, and it will be in the opposite direction of motion. Now which factors affect friction? Very simple. If the surface will be smooth, there will be less friction, and if the surface will be rough, there will be more friction. If when you rub your hands, you can feel that thing, and when you rub anything on any if you have moved any bag or heavy object on road or on a smooth surface on railway station or any platform, you will feel the difference. Okay, when you move that heavy bag with wheels on road or on platform, you will see the difference when you find it easier. So if there will be smoother surface, there will be less friction and you can move easily. So here is one example, or you can say one activity. If you have a rough surface, then you will have more friction. If you have a smooth surface, then you have less friction. Less friction means more motion. Why? Because friction always acts in the opposite direction. So in both of the examples, friction will act in this direction, in the opposite direction of motion. So rough surface will have more friction, therefore less movement. You can see same height, same object rolling, but this object will go far when compared with this. Why? Because Here the surface is smooth, hence the friction is less and movement is more. Let's see this example in by another activity. So we will discuss in next slide, but for this slide let's read these lines. Friction depends upon two factors: nature of the surface, now we know, smooth and rough, okay, and how hard the surface pressed together. Okay, this is one more thing we will discuss in the next slide. If you have visited in your school the physics lab or the junior science lab, you will see there a spring balance. Okay, in this spring balance what we do, we measure the weight by using this part. Okay, we hang that weight in this hook, and in if you have seen the market, grain market, or if you have visited market with your parents, then you will see these type of objects. They actually shopkeepers use different type of weighing balances. Okay, sometimes you see digital weighing balances, sometimes you see analog weighing balances, or there are many different types of weighing balances. So this type of weighing balance you will see in market also, but in your lab you will see this small spring balance. So here you can see how we use this spring balance. Okay, we will discuss that object also in our activity class. So let's see same activity according to our NCERT. So when you will see your NCERT textbook, there are so many activities and they are so helpful. So NCERT is designed in such a way that for every topic you will see one activity first, then you are going to introduce by that topic. So while following any type of video or any type of education content, you must stick with your NCERT. Okay, so if possible, read NCERT first, then try to understand the things. So same activity you can see in this animation. Now you can see in this diagram from our NCERT, two students are there. Very simple activity you can perform at your home also, that they are having a slate or some writing pad. These are some books, and you can easily arrange this type of pencil cell. So they used this table, then you can see how far the cell gone, and here they use a cloth, and you can experience by rubbing the surface. This table is more smoother than cloth, or simply cloth is having rough surface. So you can see easily that if you mark the distance between the writing pad and the pen, you will see here more distance covered, here less distance covered, because here is a rough surface. Rough surface means more friction, smooth surface means less friction. Less friction, more movement. Okay, so and a rough surface, more friction, less movement. Clear? So same thing here you can see in this diagram, here you can see in this activity. So this activity you can also perform, and you can see on different surfaces. This is the reason. See, when two surfaces meet with each other, see, when you see surfaces, those surfaces will look smoother. Every surface will look smooth when you see at a distance, but when you observe closely, your walls, even your paper, your copy or paper you use, okay, cardboard, if you see very minutely, you will find some type of roughness. Even smoothest tile also have some scratches. If you see closely, your mobile screens, TV screens, they also have some irregularities. But of course, any surface which have more irregularities, more scratches, it called rough, and any surface is having less, it is called smooth. Okay, nothing is actually completely smooth. Why? Because we have some irregularities, these type of irregularities. Okay, so when two surfaces meet each other, then these irregularities interlock with each other, and this is the reason of friction. When these irregularities interlock with each other, then it is hard to move these objects in opposite direction, and this is the reason of friction. So friction depends on the roughness or smoothness of surface, plus one more thing, how much time is available for interlocking, plus one more thing, the weight of the object. Because if the object is heavy, these interlockings will be stronger and friction will be more. And if you will provide more time, Have you noticed when you slide any heavy box continuously, okay, you are sliding, and if I ask you, okay, you slide more, it will be easier for you to slide. If you are already sliding, you can slide more, slightly more. But if when you have put that box for some time, and if I say, okay, please slide it more, then it will be tougher for you. You need to apply more force. Why? Because when you are already sliding, the time of contact between these two interlockings will be less. So friction depends on many things: the roughness of surface or the smoothness of surface, plus how much time you are giving, plus the weight of the object. So this is the basic reason behind the friction. So here you can see surface of the book and surface of the table. So I hope this activity is clear to you. How hard the surfaces press together. We see two factors. First, the roughness or smoothness or the nature of the surface. Second, the how hard the surfaces press together. This includes both of them, the time and the weight also. Next thing. So what is the cause of friction? Now we know. Interlockings of irregularities between two objects. Okay. So smooth surfaces have less irregularities, therefore less friction, and rough surfaces have more irregularities, therefore more friction. Very simple to understand. Now types of friction. So we will have three types of friction: static friction, sliding friction, and rolling friction. You can understand by the name also. Static friction, when book is stable on this table. Sliding friction, as we have discussed, when you are already moving the box. Okay. Sorry, static friction here, because this box is on rest and you started moving. Sliding friction here, you are already sliding on this slide, or you are already sliding the box. This box may be example of static or sliding, depends at what stage you are pushing the box. Next, the rolling friction, if the something rolls, and you can also experience that rolling is always easy if compared to sliding. You can compare yourself, you can compare battery cells or anything. Or if you have seen sometimes people, if you have very heavy object, what people do, they put some rods on that, below that object, and try to move. When it comes to move heavy almirahs, people do this trick. Okay, if you have seen, I don't know, maybe you have seen, maybe you have not. So very simple to understand. You can experience also, and I am sure you all have experienced at some point of your life that these type of frictions. So very simple, do not make it complicated. Rolling friction is less, sliding friction is more than rolling, less than static, and static friction is more than sliding. Okay, so static friction is the highest friction and rolling is the lowest. So you can arrange them like this. Very simple to understand, because in this type of friction, the time you are giving for the interlocking is very less in rolling and very high in static. Okay. So there are three types of friction: static, sliding, and rolling. Static friction, when object is at rest and you start moving. Sliding friction, when object slides over a surface. Okay. Rolling friction, when object rolls over a surface. Sliding friction is slightly less than static friction. Rolling friction is less than sliding friction and static friction. Very simple. Okay, this. So which have the lowest value? Rolling friction. Which have the highest value? Static friction. I think this is clear to you. Next slide. Friction is sometimes useful. Okay, so friction is a phenomena which we cannot avoid. Friction will always be there in our day-to-day life, and things are in contact, and we know all things are in contact. Our body is in contact with our clothes, our shoes are in contact with in ground when we move, our pen is in contact with the paper when we write. Okay, when we hold a tumbler or glass, so we are in contact with that glass. Okay, when we write on board, again chalk is in contact with blackboard. Vehicles, tire is in contact. So so you can if you look around just now, then also you will see many examples of friction. So why friction is useful? It is useful because of friction we are able to hold the glass, we are able to write, we are able to walk, we are able to drive vehicles, okay, and we are able to construct buildings. So you can see many examples where friction is useful. And by the same token, because two things are in contact, sometimes it may be harmful, okay. So friction is actually it is not a matter of harm or benefit, it depends on us. So when because of friction the results we don't want, then we say that okay it is harmful. So over a period of time, soles of shoe, tires wear out, okay. In these things you see we these things wear out because of friction. Because of friction we need new tires or new sole of shoe because they have rough appearance and they can make better grip, okay. So of course because of friction there is a economic loss. When they wear out we need to replace them, okay. And we use knives so that their sharp edges, okay, for less friction. So if they become rough we need new knife, or we need to do something about the sharpness of the knife. So these are some examples where it is undesirable, and these are some examples where it is desirable. So no matter it is desirable or undesirable, friction will be always there. So it is also said that friction is a necessary evil, okay. So if this type of question comes in your examination, what you will explain? You will explain the benefits of friction and the harms of friction, okay. Very simple and easy to understand. Next thing, so now we know, okay, sometimes it is beneficial, sometimes it is harmful, sometimes we need friction, sometimes we don't need friction. So in the examples we need friction, what do you want? We want to increase friction. If friction is useful in holding things, walking, or making grip on road, even applying the brakes, okay. This gymnast is having a rough surface on hand. How we have a rough surface on hand? Either we apply some you say in akhadas or in the kushti maidan, the pahalwan use the soil on his or her hand. Why? So that to make the hand rough, because of sweat their hands or the surface of the palm becomes smoother. So they apply soil to make the surface rough for better grip. Here you can see this gymnast is applying some strips of cloth to make the surface rough for better grip, okay. So where we want better grip, friction is useful for us. And because we know about the friction, it is because of rough surface, it is because of irregularities, it is because of more interlocking time. So we increase friction by very simple examples. Soles of shoes, they are grooved for better grip. Tires of vehicles threaded for increasing grips. Brake pads are rough to stop moving vehicles, and gymnasts apply some coarse substance on their hand. So these examples are very easy to understand, but the question will come like this: why shoes are grooved? Why we have threaded tires of vehicles? Okay, why gymnast apply some rough substance or coarse substance to make their hands rough? So the answer will be for better grip in all examples. Okay, so this is how question comes in the examination. Next thing, so when we learned that sometimes friction is beneficial, sometimes it is not beneficial, we don't need sometimes friction. So if we want to increase friction on those examples where friction is useful, we also want to reduce the friction in those examples where it is undesirable. So in carom board we apply powder, because the carom board surface, if it becomes rough then it is it is not easy to play the game. So we apply powder to make the surface smooth. How we can make the surface smooth? Very simple. See, if two surfaces have irregularities, as I said earlier, they may have some interlocking, but if you have applied some substance to fill these interlockings to fill these rough surfaces, automatically both surfaces will become smooth and it will be easier to move both of the objects. So there will be less friction. So the thing we apply, the substance we apply is called a lubricant. Lubricant may be powder in case of carom board, lubricant may be oil in case of machinery, okay. Lubricant can be any material which makes surfaces smooth, and if because of that application of lubricant we have less friction and more movement. So I think you are able to understand the examples very easily. We use wheels to roll or bags or traveling bags. Why? Because wheels use rolling friction, and we know that rolling friction is having the very less value. Okay, static friction is more, sliding friction less than static friction, and rolling friction is less than sliding friction. So this is how we can use the knowledge of friction where we want to reduce or increase the friction. So here again we use ball bearings in machinery. Why? I am sure that you have seen these type of machineries. Again, because we know that rolling friction is very less. So either you can smooth the surface, or you can apply the lubricant, or you can use the rolling friction. Again, wheels in vehicles use the rolling friction. So here you can read these statements: using lubricants like powder, oils or grease, using rollers on wheels, using ball bearings, sprinkler powder on carom board, oil or grease in machines, okay, rollers, again wheels. So these are very simple examples which we use in day-to-day life, which we see in day-to-day life. Okay, so I think it is very easy to understand. Now, fluid friction. What do you mean by fluid? Sometimes students are confused in liquid and fluid. Okay, fluid is slightly different from liquids. Fluid includes liquid and gases. Okay, so liquids are fluids, correct, but gases are also fluid. Okay, so because in liquid the molecules of liquid flow, and gas molecules of gas also flow. Okay, but we are able to see the water or liquids, but we are not able to see the gases many of the time. Okay, so in both of the medium, when we move in water, if you move in water then you will feel some difficulty in moving in water if compared with the air, because we know that if you talk about solid, liquid and gas, in solids we have molecules of solid compactly packed. In liquids they are loosely packed, and gases they are more loosely packed. Okay, they can move. So if you have seen the smoke of incense stick, you can see the movement of molecules. Okay, and if you sometimes accidentally if you have dropped the drop of ink in water, you can see the movement of molecules in the water. So this is how you can imagine that it is very easy to move in air, it is less easy to move in water. Okay, because of the fluid friction. But yes, in air also we have some friction. Sometimes if you drive cycle and air is coming in opposite direction, then you can feel the difficulty because of air also. Okay, so when we walk in air or in water, we need to remove the water or air to make movement easier. That is why you can see this type of shape everywhere when objects or animals or birds move. This type of shape is called spindle shape. Okay, so you will see fishes, birds, aeroplanes or boats in this shape, because this shape will remove water or air in the medium for making movement easier. So if it is moving in this direction, we need to remove the air or water. So this shape is very useful, spindle shape. So this type of shape you will observe everywhere. So you can see in air same shape, in water same shape, even aircrafts have same type of shape, so that they can cut the air to make movement easier. So let's read these statements. Fluid friction is the force of friction exerted by liquids and gases, because both of them are called as fluid when objects are moving through them. The frictional force exerted by fluid is also called drag. Okay, this is also a question. What do you mean by drag? So what is drag? Drag is the force of friction where? In liquids and gases. So in liquids and gases or fluids, the friction exerted by liquids or gases is called a drag. Okay, very important for examination point of view. So it depends on speed of the objects, okay, shape of the object, okay, nature of the fluid, whether it is air or water or honey. You can see in honey and in water. You can imagine if you walk in honey or walk in water, walking in water will be easier, honey will be less easier. So it depends on the nature of fluid also. Birds flying have a streamlined body. Okay, this spindle shape is also called a streamlined body. To reduce, again fishes also have streamlined body and aeroplanes also have streamlined body. Okay, same thing, streamlined body. Okay, this body is type is called streamlined body, or this shape is called spindle shape. So I hope this is very clear to you, and I am very sure that you all are familiar with all these examples, and you may have noticed, but in this chapter you will find some type of technical words for these shapes and these observations. So with these points I end this chapter. I will try to cover chapter number 13 of the class 8 science in my next presentation. So thank you so much for being till end, and take care and bye.